telling people ever since the first time I've got to see you and check out your books and see you on TLC and see you on the Oprah show, clutter is choking out America, isn't it?
You know, it's interesting. I think that we're really caught into this whole thing of just consuming so much, you know, and I think we're seeing the results of that. You know, credit card debt out of control, people's homes so overrun with stuff that they're suddenly looking at it and saying, how the heck did I get here?
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, across the board, whether it's the clutter in our houses or the clutter on our hips, the consumption thing really is a big issue for us.
Yeah, that's kind of where your new book hits home. Does this clutter make my butt look fat? Love the name of the book, by the way. Absolutely.
You know, I love that little southern drawl you get in the middle there.
Well, hey, that's what you get in Kentucky, man. You know?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And
it's interesting, Tony, that, you know, I've spent so many years helping people declutter their space, and I'm not saying that if you're cluttered, you will be heavy, or if you have a weight problem, you will be cluttered. But what I am saying is that with my clients, I've seen again and again that when you declutter your space, when you open up where you live, it is amazing the ripple effect that has in your life. You'll be more motivated, more focused, less stressed, and one of the effects that I've seen, not just on career or relationships, is that people start to drop weight. And it's this weird correlation that the book really chases, because the results I've seen are pretty astounding.
Now, would you describe the book more of a how-to book or just a motivational book to get people thinking in a different light?
Yeah, you know, it's definitely not a diet book in the traditional sense. I mean, you know, 45 million people a year in this country go on diets. Diets don't work. That's the bottom line. They just don't work. And if you're one of those people who struggles with diets, who feels guilty and frustrated because you fail again and again, consider maybe that it's not about the food. In the same way that clutter is usually not about the stuff, it's about the underlying issues. And this book really looks at those underlying issues. You know, what triggers you to buy, what triggers you to eat, what your space looks like, where you live and how you live. That's where the book focuses, because that's where I've enjoyed such huge success.
Well, like I said, we've been watching you for a while now and everything, and I've seen some drastic cases. Can you tell some of the folks out there, you know, just I guess the problem signs to know if you're living in a clutter? Like, you probably know it, but what are the things that look around?
There's for me a really simple check. If you walk into your kitchen and have a look around and ask yourself this question: if you went out to eat with your family and you walked into a restaurant's kitchen, and the kitchen in that restaurant looks like your kitchen, would you eat in that restaurant?
Good question.
And if the answer is no, then you have to start asking yourself, does my kitchen help me create the life I want, the body I want, the environment I want that really makes me want to be there, makes me want to eat well, prepare meals, to just hang? If it doesn't, why not? You need to step up and do something about that.
Well, we look forward to checking out the book. Does this clutter make my butt look fat? I love it. What's the one thing everybody's got in their house that they can just get rid of and they don't need?
Oh God, that's a good one.
You know, everybody's got just something completely worthless sitting around. What is something they can probably get rid of and never one day miss it?
It's got to be that pile of magazines on the floor beside the lounger in the TV room. Get rid of them. You don't need them.
Yeah. Now, what about?
Or in the kitchen, it's got to be that fondue pot from 1965.
Does anybody really need a quesadilla maker either? Is it? You know, good.
We buy stuff because it reflects someone that we want to be. Get real. Look at the stuff in your home, in your kitchen, and say, you know, is this real or is this someone that I dream about? And if it's someone that you dream about, just enjoy who you are now. Get rid of it.
What about old photos and stuff like that? Is that clutter? What's the best way to kind of go through that? And do you need to hold on?
It's true for anything in your house that what you have should reflect the life you want. And don't tell me it's important if it's under a bed in the spare bedroom in a black trash bag covered in dust. And so whether it's photos or heirlooms, whether it's the trophies from Little League in the 80s, you know, or your most precious kind of, you know, LP collection, honor and respect what you own, you know. Treat the stuff that you own with respect.
Right.
Because if you don't, again, is it clutter or is it something that you really value? That's the question you've got to ask yourself.
Well, you know, I wish you could get loose in this radio station. I tell you, I think the only thing left would be a board and a microphone when you get done. We have so much junk around here. I tell everybody we got to get rid of the clutter, and it's just hard. How do you get people on board with you?
Well, you know, you can't live someone else's life. I mean, it kind of comes down to that. You know, don't focus on the stuff. I say this again and again. Don't focus on the stuff. Don't focus on the food. Start first by saying to people, you know, get people on board about what they want, in this case from the radio station or from your home, and say, you know, let's look around. Does what we have in this station, does the piles of paper, does all the crap, does that reflect the kind of work environment, the home environment, the living space we want? And if it doesn't, we all need to step up and do something about that.
Peter, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us. The new book, Does This Clutter Make My Butt Look Fat? You can get it in bookshelves, bookstores everywhere now. And they can also find you online, too. What's your website?
PeterWalshDesign.com.
Love it. We know you from the Oprah Winfrey Show, TLC's Clean Sweep. Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us. Continued best of luck. Seriously, you're an inspiration to a lot of people out there.
Hey, it's always a pleasure. Have a great day.
There you go, Peter Walsh, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Tony Rose Morning Show on Sam.